sport for your whole life. We saw what happened there with Old Dominion, and I know you wanted to speak a little bit on this subject and what this pandemic is kind of causing in the NCAAs right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it to the wrestling fans out there and make sure that they're aware of what's going on in the NCAA right now. The conference commissioners, a large percentage of the conference commissioners, I think 27 of the 32 conference commissioners have some legislation pending right now, and they're meeting on it in the NCAA to get some reprieve on the sports sponsorship legislation. If you're a Division I school right now, you have to at least sponsor 16 sports, and they're trying to get that reduced to 14, and also the amount of scholarships you have to offer in Division I. They're trying to get that reduced. And that's real scary for not only wrestling, but any Olympic sport, track, golf, tennis, swimming, any of those sports. If that goes through, and there's a big push for it to go through, there's going to be a lot of sports dropped in NCAA, and I just want the wrestling community to understand what's going on behind the scenes and maybe be proactive before those dominoes start to fall.
And what can when you're saying proactive, how can the wrestling community get behind this? How can we get voices heard? How can I get people on the air to be able to say, hey, this is a solid community. We're building a great group of kids. All of our kids are coming out of college with degrees and going on to being successful adults. Who do we need to get on? Whose ear do we need to get into?
I think generally the things you mentioned need to be very well promoted nationally with the quote that is attributed to Dan Gable, once you've wrestled, everything in life is easy. I think those things need to be brought forward to generally to the presidents of the universities, to the athletic directors, to even people in the NCAA. They need to understand the importance of this sport in our society as a whole, and what it does for young people in building character. And then I think alums of universities that still have wrestling need to get together, and they need to make sure that they somehow make the ADs and the presidents, the alums need to all get together and say, hey, we're not going to let this go away. This is too important to us. It's too important to the future of, a lot of times kids of alums end up going to that school and doing the same things at that school. So, I guess my point is they need to start getting organized, as soon as possible, and talking to each other and making sure that people at the universities and nationally understand, hey, this is real important to us.
Absolutely. So somehow we need to get a hold of one of these NCAA committee members and get them on here so we can find out, we can tell them how important this is. We all just need to share the word, and everybody in this wrestling community needs to know that. And I've just seen what it does for my child the last 2 years, and it's done wonders for him. So, and then meeting all these people in the community, being in the gyms the last year and a half or whatever. I think I posted once in the Florida Wrestling Room, I've never been out around a community like this before. Nobody is more together or more attached or cares more about other people's kids than I've seen in wrestling parents and coaches, and just kids in general. So yeah, I would hate to see anything affect that. And if anybody out there is listening, and I'll share this video, I'll put it on YouTube, I'll send it to you if you want to share it. Let's get the word out there to the NCAA and let them know that this is a sport that really does create amazing adults and amazing people. So yeah, hopefully we can help in that, Coach.
Yeah, well, the difficult thing right now, and I hate to be selfish a little bit, but I coach in Division I. Now I coached in Division II when I was at Lake Superior State, so I understand, the smaller divisions. But the smaller divisions are more enrollment driven, so you want to have a broad-based athletic department because you're trying to attract students to your school, to up the enrollment and to for money, you know, because enrollment brings in money, paying tuition and stuff. So I don't think they're as much in danger as the Division I schools right now, because Division I schools, you know, they're not enrollment driven. Everything's based on money and things like that. Well, eventually they might become enrollment driven, but right now it's more about balancing the budget and what can we do to balance the budget. And the Olympic sports are really really in peril right now.
Well, I'm glad that you took the time to educate me and everybody that'll hear this on that situation, and let's try and we'll try and get our voice heard. We've been trying to do that here in Florida with girls wrestling. We had them on the other day to try to get them sanctioned. So we're definitely trying to take advantage of this small little platform that we have. So I do appreciate you educating me on that.